The dancing plague of 1518 is one of history's most bizarre and terrifying events. Imagine a summer day in Strasbourg, 1518. The sun beats down on bustling streets, but the usual sounds of commerce and chatter are soon overshadowed by a strange, unsettling sight. A woman, Frau Trophäa, steps into the square and begins to dance. She doesn't stop. Hours turn into days, and soon dozens join her. Men, women, even the elderly, all caught in an uncontrollable, ceaseless dance that for some would only end in collapse or even death. The unfolding horror. The event kicked off in July 1518 in Strasbourg, then a free imperial city within the Holy Roman Empire. Frau Trophäa's solitary, week-long dance quickly drew attention. Initially, it might have been seen as an oddity, but as around 30 people joined her, the situation became deeply concerning. Within a month, the number of afflicted swelled to nearly 400. This wasn't a celebration. Eyewitness accounts paint a grim picture. Dancers were described as pained, exhausted, and desperate. Their bodies moved seemingly against their will, a macabre spectacle devoid of joy. The relentless physical exertion led to devastating consequences, with many reportedly dying from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer exhaustion. Alarmed, the city authorities made a decision that, in hindsight, was catastrophic. Believing the cure lay in more dancing, they actually encouraged it. They hired musicians, opened guild halls, and even constructed a large wooden stage, hoping the afflicted would dance it out of their systems. This, of course, only exacerbated the crisis, providing more opportunities for the bizarre plague to spread. 3 theories for a baffling event. For centuries, historians and scientists have grappled with the question, how could hundreds of people dance uncontrollably for weeks, often to their deaths? While no definitive answer exists, 3 primary theories attempt to explain this bewildering phenomenon. 1. Ergot poisoning. One prominent theory points to ergot poisoning, or ergotism. Medieval European diets heavily relied on rye bread, and this grain was often susceptible to a fungus called Claviceps purpura. This fungus produces ergot alcohols, natural hallucinogens chemically similar to LSD. Consuming contaminated bread could lead to a range of terrifying symptoms. Convulsions and muscle spasms. These could manifest as uncontrollable twitching and movements mimicking dance. Hallucinations. Victims might experience vivid, disturbing visions. Gastrointestinal issues. Severe pain, nausea, and vomiting. Gangrene. In extreme cases, restricted blood flow could lead to the loss of limbs. While ergotism explains many physical symptoms, critics argue it doesn't fully account for the coordinated, rhythmic nature of the dancing. Ergot poisoning typically results in more chaotic and painful spasms rather than sustained, albeit involuntary, dance. However, the psychological effects could have combined with a pre-existing cultural context of dancing. 2. Mass psychogenic illness. Another compelling theory is mass psychogenic illness, often referred to as mass hysteria. This occurs when a group of people experiences similar physical symptoms without a clear underlying organic cause, often triggered by psychological stress. The conditions in Strasbourg in 1518 were ripe for such an outbreak. Extreme stress. The region was reeling from severe famine, widespread disease, and pervasive poverty. Religious fear. A deeply religious society, people lived under constant fear of divine punishment and apocalyptic prophecies. Superstition. Belief in curses, demonic possession, and the power of saints was common. In such a pressure cooker environment, collective psychological stress could easily manifest in bizarre, uncontrollable ways. The dancing may have been a coping mechanism or an unconscious expression of profound communal distress. 3. Religious or cultural ritual gone wrong. Some scholars propose that the dancing plague began as a religious or cultural ritual that spiraled out of control. In parts of medieval Europe, particularly along the Rhine, people sometimes engaged in public dancing as acts of penance to appease saints. Saint Vitus was especially revered as the patron saint of dancers and epileptics, and pilgrimages involving ritual dancing were not uncommon. It's possible that the initial acts of dancing were voluntary, intended as a form of penance or prayer during a time of great hardship. However, under the immense psychological and environmental pressures, these ritualistic movements could have transformed into an involuntary compulsion. The line between devout expression and uncontrollable affliction might have blurred, especially as more people joined, perhaps believing they too needed to appease the saints to avoid misfortune. The communal aspect could then amplify the psychogenic elements, pushing individuals beyond their conscious control. The eerie conclusion. Eventually, authorities reversed course. They banned music, public dancing, and gambling, viewing these as provocations. Sufferers were sent to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus in Saverne, where it was hoped the saint's intercession would bring relief. Slowly, the epidemic waned. By September, the compulsive dancing had ceased, leaving behind a chilling mystery that continues to fascinate and disturb. The dancing plague of 1518 stands as a haunting reminder of how fragile human minds and bodies can be under extreme duress. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Under immense pressure, hunger, and fear, what strange collective behaviors could humans still fall into today? The events of Strasbourg resonate through history, a testament to the complex interplay of psychology, environment, and belief that can drive humanity to extraordinary and terrifying extremes.